Good evening, Rabbi. Unfortunately, we have now the 3 weeks Ben HaMetzarim, which we call that Ben HaMetzarim. What does this mean, Ben HaMetzarim? We have 2 bad days, which are unfortunate days, that bad things happen. Which one is that? Yud Zayin Tammuz, like we had on Thursday. And then we have Tisha B'Av, also coming on Thursday. Another 2.5 weeks. So these times are bad times. Why is that? Because in those 2 times, Yud Zayin Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, there was many tragedies that occurred in Am Yisrael. So the Chachamim saw that it's a time of Pur'anut, time of retribution, time of punishment, Lo Aleinu. So because of that, a person has to be careful what he does during these times. It's a time that you have to be careful, watch yourself. Don't do silly things, don't do crazy things. I'll explain to you what that means, right? They say the Chazal, that during these 3 weeks, first of all, why are these 3 weeks destined for this kind of thing? Because what happened was, in the Beit Sheni, Second Temple, the Romaim came, the Romans, right, and they destroyed the temple. So what happened was, on Yud Zayin Tammuz, they broke through the wall into the city. And they started to come into the city. They broke through the wall. There was a wall over there surrounding the city. How long did it take them to break the wall? Anybody know? 3 years. 30 years. 3 years, yes. Why did it take them so long to break the wall? What's the reason why? You know why? Because the wall was extremely powerful. They built it in a very strong way, and there was also like a triple wall, different layers. So by the time it took them to break everything through, it took a very, very long time. It was very strong, very powerful. And for 3 years, the Romans were surrounding the city, and they had nothing was coming in there, no food, no water, nothing. But so how are they living for 3 years like that? Because they had enough. There were some rich people over there. They had some billionaires over there, milliardaires, So these people had a lot of money over there, a lot of food, and a lot of water, everything. They had everything. So they were able to feed the city. No problem, There was enough food over there, enough water to feed everybody. No problem, 3 years. So what happened was, in the end, there were some crazy people, Meshugaim, What are we talking about? These people, these are religious people, They put on tefillin, they keep Shabbat, everything. But the problem is they're crazy, Meshugah, So what they do, they didn't want to listen to the Chachamim. They said, oh, you know what? Let's go out and make war with the Romans. The Chachamim told them, no, you can't make war with them. We're not going to defeat them. We don't have the zechut right now to defeat the Romans. That's what they told these people, these crazy people. So they didn't want to listen to these people. So what they do, in order to force the Chachamim to go out, to the Romans, what they did was to make a war. They burned the food in the city. They burned everything, burned it down. That's what it says in the Gemara, Masechet Gittin. Right? Can you imagine? These crazy people, they went and they burned the food. So then you have nothing to eat. So this is when the problem started, you understand? This was a great tragedy, a very foolish thing what they did. But this is the thing, Also today, by the way, we have a lot of foolish people in Israel, They think that we can defeat everybody, we can fight with the Americans, fight with this. They think we're stronger than everybody, but we're not yet so strong, Let's be realistic, you know what I mean? You cannot rely on nisim, you cannot rely on miracles. We're not so strong yet. We're strong, but not that strong, So you have to know how to play this game, with the superpowers, with the Americans, with these people. You don't want them getting on your back. You don't want them thinking that you're being a chatzuf, chutzpah, because if they think like this, they're gonna start playing games with you that you don't want to play those games. And some people, they're foolish. They think, oh no, let's fight with them. Let's fight with the Americans. Why do you want to fight with the Americans? What's it to you? Just like those foolish people, they wanted to fight with the Romans. Why do you want to fight with them? We don't have the zechut right now to fight with them. We're not ready for that yet. When Mashiach comes, he'll go and fight with everybody. Don't worry, he'll take care of everybody. But until then, stay calm. You see somebody today who's Mashiach. What? Bibi's Mashiach? What do you think? What makes you think these foolish things in your head? Bibi is not Mashiach. He's just prime minister. That's all he is. Okay, whatever, right? Whatever it is. Anyway, what happened was that they came into the city on the 17th of Tammuz, and they started to damage everything, destroy everything over there, burn the houses, burn the synagogues, burn the yeshivot, rape the women. They destroyed everything. They turned everything upside down over there. This is what happened once they got into the city. So for 3 weeks this went on. They were burning, destroying, raping, murdering, killing people, killing old people. They don't care. Old, young, doesn't matter to them. What difference does it make to them? The Romans, they're savages. You know what I mean? They have no morality. They have nothing. That's what they did. Started to kill everybody, rape everybody. So what happened was, in the end, on Tisha B'Av, right before the time of Mincha, they went and they lit, the fire to the Bet HaMikdash, and they burned the Bet HaMikdash down like this, on Tisha B'Av. That's why on Tisha B'Av we have also fast day, because they burned it down. What happened was that they burned the Bet HaMikdash. They put the fire right before Mincha, and it burned for 24 hours. And most of it was Asir B'Av, the 10th of Av. 10th of Av, it was burning. They started the fire on the 9th of Av. That's why also the 10th of Av, we have also some Averut that we do. We don't eat meat, we don't drink wine on the Asiri of Av because of this reason. This is the reason why we don't do things like that. Because also the Asiri, the whole Bet HaMikdash, most of the Bet HaMikdash burnt on the Asiri, on the 10th of Av. This is what happened. So this was a great tragedy, By the way, the Gemara asked a question about this. Okay, this is true, on the Beit Sheni, when the Romans came, they destroyed the Bet HaMikdash, it was from 17th of Tammuz until 9th of Av. But the truth is, in Beit Rishon, when the Bavlin came, Bavel, and they came and destroyed, Nebuchadnezzar, they came and destroyed the Bet HaMikdash, they didn't come in on the 17th of Tammuz. When was it? When did they come into the city? It was the 9th of Tammuz. It was earlier, So Gemara asked a question over there, Masechet Ta'anit. It says, okay, you see, right, that they came in over there 9th of Tammuz. So why do we always commemorate the 17th of Tammuz? So Gemara answers the question, very simple. The answer is because the Beit Sheni is what affects us. Beit Rishon, they already did Teshuvah, they went back, they built the Beit Sheni. But Beit Sheni that was destroyed, that affects us, because we're still waiting for Beit Shlishi. We're still waiting for the third Bet HaMikdash. So that affects us. So the 9th of Tammuz, for us, it's not such a big deal, because that was in the first Beit Rishon, in the first Bet HaMikdash. But now it's 17th of Tammuz. That's when they broke into the city. That's why we do the 3 weeks. Right? It says in the Pasuk, in Echa, the first parak, right, that we read on Tisha B'Av, Kol Rodfea Hisigua Ben HaMetzarim. That's what it says, right? What does that mean? That in those 3 weeks, Ben HaMetzarim, all the ones that are chasing after the Jews, right? All the ones that were chasing after them, they caught them. They caught up to them. This is the time that the enemies of the Jews, they catch up to the Jewish people. 3 weeks. That's why we keep, minhagim of mourning, of avelut, in order to prevent things like this. This is the reason why we fast on Yud Zayin Tammuz. So they say, that if a goy has some kind of a, ta'ana, some kind of a claim on a Jew, when does he usually catch him? 3 weeks, right? Ben HaMetzarim. This is when he usually catches you. This is when you get, right? Sometimes a person, has problems with credit, okay. So the letters, come, from the lawyers. Ben HaMetzarim, you open your mailbox, what happened? This letter is looking for me, chasing after me, He caught up to me, Ben HaMetzarim. This is what happens, a person has to be careful. That's why in Ben HaMetzarim, the Chachamim said, right, that we should do some minhagim of avelut. So therefore, the Ashkenazim, you know what they do, right? They don't do weddings all Ben HaMetzarim, 3 weeks. They don't do no weddings, no chatunot. But the Sfaradim have a different custom. What we do is, according to Maran HaShulchan Aruch, we do weddings, we do chatunot until Rosh Chodesh. Until Rosh Chodesh you're allowed to do. Rosh Chodesh Av, you're allowed to do. So if somebody wants to do chatunah now, right, he may think, it's not a lucky time, maybe not a good idea. But the truth is, you can save some money. If you go now to the catering, they probably have slow, so they'll give you a discount. They'll give you a nice discount now if you want to do chatunah. So therefore, right, there's maybe a good reason. Maran Rav Ovadia used to tell us that we should do chatunot until Rosh Chodesh. Don't be afraid, he said. Do chatunot, don't worry. Music, everything. Food, meat, drinks, whatever, right? Do everything. Make sure they get married. No problem. Until Rosh Chodesh, no problem. That's what he used to say, Maran Rav Ovadia. This is the custom of the Sfaradim. So whoever wants to do chatunot, if he's not Ashkenazi, no problem, right? He can do. Also, another thing I want to tell you, that we have to do our read. I don't want to keep you too long. But another thing I want to tell you also is regarding the sakana, They say, right, that during the Ben HaMetzarim, there is this shed, a demon, lo aleinu, that goes around from the 4th hour to the 9th hour of the day, right? The beginning of the 4th hour to the end of the 9th hour. What times are these in New York time? About 9:15 in the morning, 9:15. Over here, we already finished the Chashachrit, right? No problem. Everybody goes home, right? 6:15, right? We start, right? Over here, right? So no problem. We're already finished already by then. But 9:15 it starts, this shed, this demon, and goes until the end of the 9th hour, which is about 4:45 in the afternoon. Before 5 o'clock. Something like that. Until then, he goes around. So why do I care if he goes around? They say it's dangerous, at this time, because of this shed, this demon. Don't go alone in places, to the forest or all kinds of places, by yourself. Because the rule is like this, that the Talmud says, that if you go in a place where you're by yourself there, deserted place, the shed, he has power to attack you. He has permission. He has permission. He has a, te'udah, he has a contract, He can show you, here, you see? I have permission to kill you now. What are you doing over here in the forest by yourself? You shouldn't be by yourself at this time, So be careful, don't go to places like this deserted. There's a Gemara, by the way. You know what it says about the Gemara? It says that the Shedim, the demons, sometimes they have power to attack people, they have permission. So the rule is like this, if a person goes by himself to a deserted place, especially at night, but now this is the daytime during the 3 weeks, not at night. So he has permission, to get you over there. If you go by yourself, one person, if he goes by himself, the shed has permission to kill him. If he goes two people, it's more safe. They don't have permission to kill you, but they have permission to appear to you, to show themselves to you, to scare you. They have permission to scare you. But it says if you go with 3 people, they don't even have permission to scare you. Nothing. This is the way it is, So therefore, always a person should try to be in this time of year, these hours that we talked about, in a place where they shouldn't scare him, the Shedim. Don't go in a place by yourself. To the forest over there, whatever, by yourself. Nobody's there with you. Deserted place, no people there. No good. That's good, by the way, we're in New York, there's always people around us everywhere we go. Baruch Hashem. Here it's more safe. But when you go outside, into the places, into the country, that's already more dangerous over there. That's the thing. Another thing is that they say, because of this shed, what happens is that there's a rule like this, that if a person, sometimes he wants to, he's mad at his son, mad at his children a little bit, right? So he wants to give him a pachi, They say don't do this during this time of year, because the shed, they say that this shed is such a mamzer, he's a mamzer, this guy, So you know what he does? If you hit him, your child, he also hits him. He hits him one more time, So that's why, and this time of year, we don't hit our children. Also, if there's a Rabbi, who was Talmidim, in the old days, the Rebbe used to have a ruler, go around, Talmid will misbehave, give him a patch, like this. Today nobody does that, but things have changed, today. It's not the same as it was before. Today we're afraid of the police, they're going to come and arrest you because of these kinds of things. Social services, whatever it is, right? So a Talmid, the Rebbe shouldn't hit the Talmidim, and the parents shouldn't hit the children during these times. That's what they say, because of the sakana. So it says Maran, even though there is sakana like this, but he says it's only during the hours that we mentioned, because the shed is only there at that time. So what does that mean? From 9:15 to 4:45, as we said, right? But later on, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he's already finished already. His shift is over already. He only works 9 hours. That's it, right? He can't work all day, right? He gets tired. He needs a little bit to sleep a little bit, whatever, to rest. So he can't work all day. So therefore, says Maran, that if a person needs to, give his child a little patch, he shouldn't give too much patching, by the way, today. We don't give too much. Only a little bit, just sometimes it can be dangerous to do that today. But you have to ask a rabbi about that, by the way. There's a discussion about that. But the point is like this, that afterwards, after the hours of the shed are already finished, then he can do a little bit, he can do. Because he's not going to harm you then at that time. He's only working from 9:15 to 4:45. That's it, right? Otherwise, he's out of business. He's closed. Shop is closed. Understand? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bring us to the Geulah Shlema. We're going to have that. They say, right, all these Ben HaMetzarim, the 3 weeks, the 21 days are going to be all Chagim. They're going to become all Chagim. The Chagim are going to be these 3 weeks. So the question is why, why are these three weeks going to be Chagim after Mashiach comes? What's the reason why? Because they say, once a person, knows the din, the omek, the depth of the din, that he was supposed to be judged, he will see that because HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished him during these 3 weeks, he was saved from much worse things, So this was very good for him. So once he realizes how good this was, to be punished during the 3 weeks and then not be punished later on, he's going to be so happy to hear, how the din came out like that. He's going to make a chag. He's going to make a seudah, and a party because of this. This is the reason why it's going to become all the time of chagim, because of the Shem. This time. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen, amen.